Hello and welcome to Bro Duel. Today we have the Second Great War. In the aftermath of Skyrim's civil war and the Dragon Crisis, the Aldmeri Dominion is stirring. At the end of the First Great War between the Aldmeri Dominion and the Empire, the White Gold Coordinate was signed. The agreement marked the end of the war, with its terms heavily favouring the Dominion. It allowed for a Thalmor presence in parts of the Empire under the guise that they would ensure the worship of Talos was banned. The treaty also forced the disbandment of the Blades, and the Empire agreed to cede a large portion of Hammerfell to the Dominion, weakening them even further. Hammerfell continued the fight, forcing the Empire to release them as a province entirely. After 5 years of continuous warfare, the Red Guards eventually pushed the Dominion out of their homeland, a now independent state. Despite not being successful in Hammerfell, the Dominion remained stronger than ever, while the Empire only a shell of its former self. Having to fight civil unrest in Skyrim and an ongoing Dragon Crisis, the Empire has been brought to its knees. And that's where the mod's story begins. The Aldmeri Dominion have declared war on the Imperial Legion once again, however this time they intend to finish what they started. Cyrodiil is almost completely under Dominion control, and now rumours of Dominion soldiers near the border of Skyrim have begun to emerge. Skyrim's leaders are now preparing for the worst, and are calling upon the Dragonborn for help once more. Your quest begins with a note from a courier. The mod offers a new war questline designed to be played at the very end of your playthrough. For a fully immersive experience, you should have completed most of the main quest and both the Dark Brotherhood and College of Winterhold questlines. However, you technically only need to reach the end of the Civil War to start the mod. During the quest, you'll be able to decide whether you want to keep your allegiance to Skyrim and her people, or betray them for the ultimate conquest of the Aldmeri Dominion. Depending on which faction won the Civil War in your playthrough, they'll be in charge of Skyrim's defense. This opens up 4 possible endings, with a win or loss for both the Imperial Legion and the Stormcloaks. Throughout the story you'll be sent on various missions of espionage, assassinations and full-on siege battles. The mod makes clever use of new fully voice-acted NPCs and assets from the Civil War to offer a fresh take on a war-based questline. If you're on the side of Skyrim, you'll be up against the finest Bosmer archers, the strongest Altmer Ages and the most vicious of Khajiit warriors, all led by a cunning and well-experienced Thalmor leadership. If instead you want to join the Dominion, you'll get only one opportunity to do so, and that's when you're trapped and confronted by a Dominion leader early on in the questline. Throughout the story, the Dominion will eventually gain control over certain territories across Skyrim. In those territories, Thalmor and Dominion soldiers will patrol the cities and wider area, where they'll attack any visible enemies on sight. So wearing the armour of your faction in an enemy territory will make them hostile. Even wearing a Talos amulet in Dominion areas will lead to your arrest. In a similar vein, Talos statues will also be torn down. The mod does a fantastic job of making the world react to the ongoing war, especially given that none of the vanilla NPCs can really react to it. For example, there's a chance for Nord rebels to occasionally assault Dominion-controlled cities. Thalmor overseers will also watch over the Jarl, and occasionally you'll see conflicts between the Dominion and other factions around Skyrim, like the Forsworn. There's plenty of other minor touches that help tie the story together, but ultimately this type of mod will always be limited. It doesn't really make sense that the Jarl of a city doesn't mention the fact that the Dominion have taken over. Also, plenty of characters who definitely wouldn't want to live under Elven rule still seemingly walk around as if nothing is happening. But if this is the last thing you do in a playthrough, then you probably won't want to spend much time talking to random vanilla NPCs anyway. To further set the questline apart from the Civil War, you'll want to jump right into the mod menu. Here you can tweak a bunch of settings for the siege battles, making them smaller or up to 5 times larger than the ones fought in the Civil War. You can also individually tweak the amount of reinforcements for both sides, so you can give the Dominion a big boost in numbers to show off their power. You can also delay the war from starting, and even instantly skip the Civil War questline if you'd prefer to just get straight into the mod. Altogether, the mod offers around 6 hours of content that can be a lot of fun, especially if it's been a while since you played through the Civil War questline. The voice acting is top notch for most of the main NPCs, but the quality definitely drops off in some of the side characters who only have a line or two. Despite that, the mod certainly has a lot of charm to it, so we definitely recommend you give it a go. It's available for both versions of Skyrim, and you can find everything you need in the description down below. Just before we wrap up, we'd like to once again thank Rave for sponsoring this episode. Rave is an app for both Android and iOS that lets you seamlessly watch perfectly synchronized videos with friends from anywhere in the world. You can be hundreds or even thousands of miles apart and the app syncs it up perfectly, letting you text and chat at the same time. It supports YouTube, Reddit, Netflix and even VR. To get it today, you can find a link for your app store down below. And that's the end of today's Spotlight. As always, be sure to endorse any of the mods you enjoy using, and thanks for watching.